So here we are. This is our tech tree as we left it last week. We managed to speak and use words. We managed to get a mission to Minmus and back, and unlocked a huge amount of science points, which gave us a huge amount of new tech. So there's quite a few things we could do in today's stream, and very few of them are going to be science gathering. What I'm thinking might be a good idea is for us to get some kind of satellites running and scanning systems and things along those lines. Hey Harvey, welcome. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to have a look, first of all, at a little test satellite that we can put in orbit around Kerbin to scan Kerbin. And then, see, we need communication satellites anyway. Oh, new follower, Jacob Orth 123. Thank you for the follow and welcome. We need some kind of communications network. I'm going to sneeze. I just got to the microphone button in time. Sorry about that. Yes, so we need some kind of satellite network, which is going to be a communication network for future missions. But we also need to... And a new follower, Enderwolf360. Thank you very much. Yes, Cheddar Empire, we are using remote tech, which is why we are going to need communication satellites. So, let's have a look at what we can do here. We want to put together a little probe satellite that we can send, well, into orbit. And to do that, we're going to need all sorts of things like RCS and what have you. So this could be an interesting build. RCS thrusters. Where's the? We've got like omnidirectional RCS thrusters somewhere. But these are all big ones. I want little ones. Where's all the little ones? Maybe I haven't unlocked those yet. Yeah, these are all far too big. What's that? That's an SA. Oh, that's big. RCS pod. Does that hold fuel? No, requires RCS booster. Interesting. So, how do we want to do this? We want... Oops. We're going to have to use these ones in that case. What about if we use... Can we do 2 of those? And 2 of those? Will they play nice together, do you reckon? Anyone ever done something like that before? They look like they'll play nice together. We can space them out a bit more, I suppose, when we've got a bit more stuff on here. We can't add reaction wheels because we haven't got any of the right size. They're all too big. So, what we can add is fuel tanks and engines. Now we need small, whittle small fuel tanks. That's carbonite. Don't want a carbonite tank. That's monopropellant. That's RCS. So I wonder if we can use tweak scale to shrink some of these. Mind you, then we can't. We'll have to tweak the. Oh no, we've got the little engine, haven't we? We just need the fuel. So if I go with something like that. Oh, come on. Can I tweak scale it down? Yes, I can. Look at that. Excellent. Doesn't hold much fuel like that. But I can tweak it down. So that means I can probably do the same with larger tanks. So if I went, say, with one of those and tweak scale that down, there we go, 22 fuel would not be too bad. What mods we're using? We are using a huge number of mods, and you will find them at this link here that hopefully Moobot will be presenting to you in the chat. Yes, we have quite a few mods that we are running. Let's have the centre of gravity on this. Oh, it's quite high. Can I pull it down? I'll tell you what, we need to stick an engine on the bottom of that, don't we? So let's do that. That pulls it down. There we go, that's better. Let's see if we can bring it into the centre. Like so. And then we can do that. And put that next to it. Like that. And then that gives us, hopefully, omnidirectional. Tell you what we could do actually. We copy that and put it down there. There we go, omnidirectional RCS. Not bad. Yes, I do believe Elysium went live the same time as I did. Is it possible that your website is a bit outdated? My website is a little bit outdated. I need to get it up to date. The Elitopia.net Minecraft server's site is still up and running, but yes, Elitopia.com definitely does need some updating. Let's flip these up that way. That's going to move the centre of gravity again, isn't it? Oh well, still close enough. Don't think it's going to make that much difference. So that's not bad. Let's get some solar panels. Actually, we're going to need, aren't we? So let's put those on, like so. Oh, preferably 2 of them. There we go. And probably a batteries are going to be a good idea as well, isn't it? Which again is going to have killed our centre of gravity, so this lot's probably all going to have to move again. But there we go, solar panels and a battery and RCS and some fuel. So that's the basics. Then we need communications. We're going to need one of these for when we are launching. Only need one of those. Well, not that way, that's it. Stick it on there like that. And we're going to need scanning devices. Now, there are 2 capable of scanning for high concentrations of carbonite even from orbit. So that one is best altitude 100, max 750, minimum 5. This is minimum 5, max 500. Doesn't give us a best. Multispectral sensor, what's that? Multi-channel sensor detects radiation across several infrared, visible light and radar bands. This gives it a capability to differentiate between terrain types and biomes. Okay. It can also detect anomalies such as structures on the ground. So that's good for biome scanning. Yes, I am on 0.24.2. That's pretty big, isn't it? Can I tweak scale that? No, I can't. Oh, I can extend it though. I quite like that. Oh, no. Unextend. Unextend. Destend. There we go. Yeah, but that's a bit big and heavy, I think, for this little probe. We'll have to have a bigger probe for that one. Radar is for low-res ground map in black and white. Which one's the radar? That's that one. Scan radar. So that's the carbonite detection array. Can that detect? That can't do a scan as well, can it? I don't think. So BTDT is for finding anomalies in low range. BTDT? What's BTDT? I don't see anything called BTDT. Scanomatics, the surface one, isn't it? Okay, so how about we do something like this? Actually, we could put it over here, couldn't we? If I do that and extend that, that gets in the way of a few things, doesn't it? But if I rotate it, that will not get in the way of anything, and it looks awesomer. Oh, been there, done that. Fair enough. So yes, that looks awesomer. We can also use a carbonite detection array on the top of it, so that's handy. Now I attached that, however I didn't attach anything else for communications, so we need some other kind of communication device. That has a range of 2.5 million meters. This thing is only going into orbit, and it is not going to form part of a long range or geosynchronous scanning system, so I could just take that and I could put it next to that one, or I could take one of those, which gives us 50 million meters, which actually would be sufficient for geosynchronous if we decided to put this in a geosynchronous orbit. If I rotate that, put it on there, it's starting to look, oh no, that's not right, starting to look a little bit ridiculous. But would certainly be functional. What about punch cards? Interesting. What do we think? Tell you what, let's have a look at the old centre of gravity again. Yeah, those RCS things need to go up again. So what I could do is move all these up. And they've all just gone to one-sided mode. Oh no, because that's going to clash with that now, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, it'll do, it'll do. And I could attach this. If I do 3, it will look deliberate. Oh no, it doesn't, because it's clipping through that. Oh well. 4. And now they're clipping through each other. Tricky, tricky, tricky. Should use a polar orbit for ScanSat, no, not equatorial. Yes, I will be using. Keep scanning the same point. Geostationary. Yeah. No, I wouldn't send this geosynchronous while it's scanning, but it may become part of a geosynchronous network later on. What am I going to do with these? What am I going to do with these? Let's go with 3. We'll put them as triangles on the bottom, and we will spin these round. We only want 2 of those. Move these up, because I don't mind those clipping through stuff. I'll tell you what, spin them around. There we go, that doesn't look too bad. Actually, polar might work for a comm relay as well. you're probably more likely to be out of range though. I don't know, maybe it could be. If it's our first one, we could use it as our first one, and then others would be equatorial and geostationary, and it could be the relay between them. That might work. So, is there anything else that we need on this? We've got a battery on there. Don't really need lights. I'm not going to bother with docking ports and things like that. Radial lander leg. No, these are legs. This is all carbonite stuff. That's the colonisation stuff that we've unlocked. That's universal storage. Folding flag. Oh yeah, we haven't got any flags on this, have we? Wonder if we can fit a flag on it somewhere as well. Here we go. Let's have a... There we go. Just the one. Oh, wrong way. There we go. Now it's a commercial satellite. Lovely. Oh, new follower, JM14183. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for the follow. I do live stream every Friday. Or at least I have done every Friday for about the last, I don't know, 4 months? 5 months? Springy, how long have you been watching? Must be about 4 or 5 months now, mustn't it? Lights are important for when you have an audience. This is true, and we do have an audience. So we could perhaps add a light or two. Let's see, what kind of lights do we have that we could add? We have some Omni lights. Those. That fits all right in there. On and off since somewhere about January. Yeah, that would make sense. August now, so that would be 8 months. Which of these is the one that uses the least electric charge? That one. Something like that. Will that light it up? Lights on. Certainly will. Lights off. So what would that do if I turn that one on? Well, that lights it up too. How much power do they use? Omni light white 0.6. They use less power. I'm using those. Lights off. I can change the colour too. 2 solar panels are not going to be enough for constant scanning with 2 scanners. No, that's quite true. Still only want one of those. We could stick another one here. So that'll be 3, which will be a bit odd. 1 battery is not enough either when you're blacked out from the sun. Yeah. I was trying to keep it light, but I think you might be right. How about we squeeze another one in? Ah, oh, screw it. Let's stick it on the top. I tell you what. Here we go. Let's grab that. Put that on. Oh. 4. Get rid of that one. We're going to need to nudge this one. Oh, no. Don't want 4 of those. Only want 1 of those. Nudge it down just a little bit. Oh. Oh, come on. There we go. Oof, that's going to be tight, isn't it? If I extend... I can't extend that. I thought I could extend those in the thing. No, I guess this would be the last time I see you live for a while due to high school since I live in Canada. Oh, well, that would be a shame. Build a longer body with more batteries, more space for attaching stuff, less cramped. Yeah. One more battery. How long have we got there? Well, thank you. That's very useful information. It doesn't tell me how long that's going to last at all. So, should we go with one more? They're in there, there we go. One more battery. Stick that on there. These can go up higher. There we go. That can go back up here. Like that. And we can have more, we can fit more lights on it now. There we go, we can move that up to there. We still only need one of those. I'm planning KSP live streams, but I need to find a good way to record. Oh, right, yeah. No, I guess this would be... Alright, I've read that one. Trying to keep up with the chat whilst clearly not looking at it. As far as the live streams are concerned, I have started posting them to my YouTube channel. So if you don't get to see the stream, you will be able to follow it on YouTube, along with my other series, which some of you will already be well aware of. Our centre of gravity is rising, which means I need to move these again. No, that puts that inside the scan thing. If I do it like that on the side, that might work. If I remove those for a second. I'm going to put those, say, here. And everything's gone into single mode again for some reason. There we go. Not looking bad. I think we might have everything we need on this now. I did want to try and fit a... Yeah, we've got space there now for a Kerbal Engineer. Oh, or two of them. Just the one. Here we go. Costs 14,000. Mass of 1,740 kilograms. Well, that's not bad. It's got 532 meters a second of delta V on its own. So now we need to hide this guy in a fairing and come up with some way of getting it into orbit. I'm thinking actually we might put this thing into orbit with a manned launch vehicle. Has he got other lights? We've got these Omni lights here, which are hopefully going to be sufficient. I think. Using surface lights mod, I think it comes with a few omni lights for self-illumination. It's pretty neat. Pretty neat. This isn't the surface lights mod. What is this? This is something like Tarsia space technology, I think it might be, or Infernal Robotics. I don't know. No, I don't think it's Infernal Robotics. I think it might be Tarsia. No, I really don't remember, to be quite honest. But yeah, one of the mods I've got running gives us that. That's what I wanted. So we have a fairing base, which will cover us right up to that. We actually have the interstage fairing adapter now. I wonder if we should use that. If I go down here like so. Oh, not like that. Like that. That has a decoupler in it as well. And I can then increase the height of that. What's the difference between height and extra height? No idea. Auto struts on. More nodes, fewer nodes. Now somewhere we can add... Can I not do it with that? Pretty sure those lights... well, they might be in KW actually. Cuts the weight about in half. Only needs xenon gas. Yeah, I do plan to make good use of xenon gas. If I can do that, why can't I attach to the top of it? If I put that on 4 thingies, I then want to attach something on top, but I don't appear to be allowed to. And aerodynamically that doesn't really work. Why is it that fairings are always so fiddly? Did you have trouble installing the B9 Repacked mod? No, I found the fixed version. And yeah, I used that. So worked for me. I can make the base really big. But I still can't attach to the top of it, which is very annoying. I thought that was the whole point of the interstage adapter, was to be able to attach to the top of it. If I do it that way round, that will work, won't it? Interesting. Now, that one doesn't have a decoupler. I don't think that one has a decoupler either, does it? No, so we'll have to build our own decoupler into that. Have we unlocked? We haven't unlocked the tiny little decoupler yet, have we? No, I've only got that one. Can I scale that down? Yes, I can. Eccellente. So, let's put a fairing round it. We'll go with that one in that case. And conic fairing. There we go. So they can detach, that can detach, that can fire, but that's completely separate. Now, we need to have this manned. I'm starting to like the tweak scale mod. Have we got the flag on? No, where's the flag? The flag has disappeared, so we'll have to find another way of attaching a flag to that. So now we've done that, we've got that's a 2.5 metre, so we can actually use 2.5 metre tanks for this. Not that we need to, we don't need to at all. But Kerbal Engineer will love it. Let's go with something like one of those. One of those. What is that? 600 thrust, 380 ISP in a vacuum. That almost gives us enough to get into orbit on its own. We don't really need anything quite that powerful, do we? So how about let's tweak scale one of those on. Oh, that's going to need parachutes. Let's not forget parachutes. Let's see. Interstage fairing has no top. Use the other base ring. Fair enough. I'm totally confused as to what I'm doing now. Right, this is going to be a transfer and return stage. These are all too small. $432 fuel, that's not bad. That gives us 410 in a vacuum. Any other random engines anywhere that give us better than that? 390, 390. No. So, we'll go with one of those for that stage, which is not a huge amount of delta V, is it? 113. Really? A 113 meters per second of delta V. That really does not sound very good. So, one of those, and one of those. 91? I suppose it's just is it the weight killing it? Thrust to weight of 0.72. Stick with that and try a different engine and see what that does. 1,356 with a lower vacuum ISP. Interesting. But we should only be using it in a vacuum, so I think that's actually going to be... Surely that calculation is wrong. That must be wrong. I'm going to go with that. I'm going to risk it. I'm going to go with that. Right. So then let's go with a proper 2.5 metre decoupler. That's a monoprop engine? Surely not. Oh, it is. Ah, well, okay, that that makes a lot of sense, because that will be using the small amount of monoprop that I've put in the lander, in the satellite. Well, out of interest, then, since that's got such a high ISP, let's stick one of those on, scale that up to 2.5, and see how much that gives us. 763. Now that's not bad. So if I go for 2 of those, that's alright for a transfer and return stage, isn't it? Hopefully we'll get out of the atmosphere with our launch stage, which shouldn't be too much of an issue. You have the KER settings to atmospheric as well. Yes, that's true. If I go for 0 pressure, that does increase it somewhat, doesn't it? Or does it? What's going on there? It doesn't really change much at all. So if I do that and then take that off, now it goes to 1, 2, 3, 5. So no, that is in 0 pressure. Yeah, they are vacuum settings. So, but anyway, 1,235 meters a second is not too bad. So now we need to put this thing into orbit. So let's do that with the minimum amount of fuel possible. Which of these has the highest ASL? 310, 325, the Wildcat 5, 350, the Vesta, but it has quite low thrust. The Wildcat 5 has got higher thrust. It goes from 90 to 230, so that's better. 320 ASL. 320, 320, 320. So actually the skipper, the mainsail and that one are pretty good. That one's a small engine, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, so we could go with the skipper for this, I think. We'll need more fuel than that. Build a giant rubber slingshot. Yeah, that would work. Geosynchronous, same rotation period. Geostationary, same rotation period and equatorial orbit with inclination of 0. Right, yeah. So, we'll need more fuel. We've got a more than sufficient... we haven't got a more than sufficient, actually. We've got an okay thruster weight on that. So, let's increase the amount of fuel. Could use the KW engine, that one. 0.94 is not sufficient. What if we switch that for the mainsail then? Boom! 208. That's quite a lot. We can bring that to, say, 1.4 with thrust limiting. However, that's not enough delta V, so I'm going to sneeze again. No, maybe not. Yep. Sorry about that. Right, so let's get some solid boosters on this thing. They're huge, you don't want those. Let's have something. Have we got anything that looks nice? What are these? Ullage motors. Nope, Ullage motor. Globe X5 Thor. Thor! Yeah. I'm only allowed one, apparently. Globe 1, the teeny little ones. Globe 6. Oh, they look alright. Wants me to put them there though. Hmm, 2915. Not enough, is it? More boosters? 3148. Still not really enough, is it? Do I really have to use 6 of these? Even that's not enough. Okay. Plan B. What about those ones? What are they? Ooh, not that many. Three, 287. 3636. What is it? 3,500 or 4,500 delta V we need to get into orbit? I don't remember. Structural. Let's get some. We need to space these out a bit. What's that? Apollo launch clamp, eh? Not what I need. I need something like this. Let's space them out a bit. 6. Four, 5, 6, 9. That's not bad. We might be able to work with that. What do we reckon, guys? We need to put some nose cones on these. And about 1 million struts. A million is probably an exaggeration. I hope I don't need to put 1 million struts on, otherwise this is going to be an extremely long stream. It's already taken me longer to build this than I expected it to. Let's have some more of those in the middle. And maybe then attach the nose cone to... Let's do it to the pod, why not? Okay. What do we think, guys? 4,568 meters a second will get us into orbit. Can we recover the value of those? How much were those tanks worth? 1,800. No, not worth recovering the value of those. Yeah, extra Delta V with racing stripes. They've got flags on them. They've got Elitopia flags on them. That makes things go faster. There we go. Sorry, my keyboard drawer is getting a bit old. It's getting very creaky in its old age. So yeah, adding parachutes to these is probably not going to be a good idea. RCS on the body. RCS on the body. Not following you. What do you mean? Oh, you mean for stability? Could do. Could do. I will add some fins, I think, for some stability. Winglets there, tail fins. Let's go for some winglets on these. That'll give us a little bit of stability. I suppose I could put them in there as well for a little bit more stability. I think that looks alright, don't you? Doesn't look too bad, so let's not be in the wall. Let's get some launch stability enhancers on here, or launch clamps. Here we go. Lovely. Move the whole thing down a bit. There we go. Looking good. Those winglets don't help steering. No, I'm not expecting them to help with the steering. I'm expecting them just to keep the thing stable and stop us from flipping over. I'm hoping that this thing will be able to give us some steering. I suppose we could add some SAS in here, couldn't we? Oh, too big. Something like that, and that'll help too. Okay, so I think we're ready to test this thing out. Burner engines on the main tank are never a bad idea either. Burner engines on the main tank. Did we unlock the Werner engines yet? We did. And they require... they're RCS thrusters that require liquid fuel. Why would we want that on the main tank? You mean for stability? Ooh. Where's our centre of gravity here? There. So what, you mean stick some here? Like that? Is that what you kind of had in mind? Just keep RCS turned on during launch, keeps it stable. Is that the right place for them, do you think? On the centre of gravity, or do we need them up or down? My camera's still a bit high, isn't it? How's that? That's better. Test to see if your pilot... they give high thrust RCS. Test to see if your pilot can get in and out with that strut stuck in the door. I'm not really bothered about whether the pilot can get in or out. Well, I'm worried about if he can get in, but he'll get in. He'll be in there already. So I'm not too worried about that. Usually sets of two. One high, one low. To balance any tilt you might get. Right, okay, so top and bottom. So there and there. Something like that. We'll go with that, and we'll keep the RCS on during launch, and that won't use our RCS fuel. It will use our liquid fuel, so that's good. That's good. That strut keeps the door shut for sure. Yep, no accidental decompression. So, do we have everything we need? I'll tell you what, just because we've unlocked it and we can, I'm adding a barometer. And I've got a feeling we've never taken any temperature readings from the launch pad. We've done mystery goo and all that lot from the launch pad. Let's have a communitron, and we'll stick an extra battery on that just to send that back. Tell you what, we'll have an extra. Yeah, we'll have an extra couple of batteries. There we go. Just so that we don't use up any of the power for the probe. So, let's give this thing a name. Let's call this the TwitchSat1. First test satellite launcher. Save it. Now, before we do anything else, I'm going to have a look at the action groups, and I'm going to set an abort group. And that abort group is going to decouple that, deploy that, shut down that engine. I can't shut them down. It's going to jettison the fairings. And I want it to fire that one as well, but that's... I can do that manually, I think. So there we go, we've got an abort set up there as well. Not that I can remember the actual key press for the abort, but... so let's have a look at our crew. We have a new Kerbal in our ranks, thanks to one of our Patreon supporters. We have Dallas Kerman, thanks to Dallas, the supporter, one of the supporters on our Patreon page, who has supported with on a high enough tier to get his name into our game. So Dallas is going to be heading up this mission for us. Welcome everybody, Dallas Kerman, to the ranks. Let's check that we've got our staging right. That's not right at all. So we do that. We'll do that. Then that will go. Then that can fire. Then that will go. That will... right, okay, so that needs to go higher up. They can fire. Those parachutes go up there with that. And that's all inside the satellite, so that should be okay. Save that, and let's take this thing out to the launch pad and see what we get. Yeah, I think backspace is the abort. Dallas Kerman will also be featuring in the Colonising Kerbals series over on my YouTube channel. So if this is a complete failure, which, oh, there's an interesting little pattern. Look at that. Not quite sure why we've got that. But yes, if this mission does turn out to be a catastrophic failure, Dallas Kerman will still be ever present in another form. So, speed up time, let's have a daytime launch. I don't really want a nighttime launch. And we're going to try and launch this thing polar, so it's going to be a slightly different kind of launch, because a gravity turn isn't going to be, well, we'll still have a gravity turn, but an easterly gravity turn isn't going to be very advantageous for us if we are trying to get a polar orbit as part of the Twitch 8 over there. So, Dallas Kerman is in the pilot seat with us, and well, we are basically ready for launch. Let's get our SAS on and we'll get our throttle up to 100%. Not that we need it, but what mod for the sky? That is it's the EVE mod, the Environmental Visual Enhancements mod, and then it's the Astronomer's Visual Pack Oblivion, I believe. So yes, EVE for the basis, and then the Astronomer's Visual Pack, which also gives you the clouds or the mist on the moon and on Minmus and things like that. So, are we ready for launch, guys? Let's get up here. Let's have an interesting view of this one, because this is going to be a different kind of launch. There we go. I'll tell you what, let's have a screenshot of it too. There we go. Lovely. Oh yeah, don't forget the RCS. Let's have the RCS on. And here we go. Let's hope this works. We are launching. We are going straight up, which is good. Not too many puffs from the RCS by the looks of things. Looking good, looking good. So, we now need to start turning in a northerly direction, which is this way. Which means actually we want to come around and have a look at this. And look, that RCS is puffing up there. That's not much good. Which is annoying. Come on. I don't seem to be able to turn. I had this problem last week, didn't I? It's because those solid boosters haven't got any thrust vectoring on them, have they? Okay, so this is going to be a slightly more classical launch. It seems to want to go straight up. Yeah, I have turned my RCS off. Oh wow, we should have restricted the thrust on those solid boosters, really, shouldn't we? These are taking us pretty high. Interesting new view though. I don't normally see this view when we launch. I can't turn. I can't do anything. I am at the mercy of these solid boosters. Well, they are pulling me straight, yes, but they're supposed to be pulling me straight kind of in the direction that I want to point. They're not really doing what I want to do. Oh, Russian nuke came in and exploded with a ban. No, he hasn't been banned. Winglets better, he said in all caps. Yes, winglets probably would have been the better way to go. Well, these are winglets, but they're just not the right winglets on this occasion. Yeah, the thunderclap did run out. Have I not taken that off the message? Well, it seems this is going to be a very high satellite. Okay, we're getting less resistance from the atmosphere now, so I've got a little bit of control. There we go. Right, so let's cut my engines, dump those, let them float away, and check the map, see where we are. We have an apoapsis of 126 kilometres. So, yeah, we really don't need to be doing much at this stage. Do 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 dum bum 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 bum. Do, 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 do. Bum, 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 bum. Sorry. They doing a little dance there, the solid boosters. Synchronized deorbiting. So we're almost outside the atmosphere, so we could actually start burning. We could actually start burning to circularize this orbit out. We don't really need to, but why not? Here we go. Why is my orbital speed going down? Apparently I'm propelling myself that way and getting slower. I'm fairly sure that I am getting faster. Because you're burning below the horizon. Well, I suppose I am burning slightly below the horizon, aren't I? There we go. Well, yes, I realise the orbital speed is supposed to be slower the higher I go, but I was accelerating. That's what confused me. Shouldn't have any problem getting this thing into orbit. Look at that, we're almost on the day-night line as well. I suppose because we launched at dawn, didn't we? Sometimes you just don't accelerate as fast as it shows you dropping speed. Yeah, I guess so. We were increasing in altitude very, very rapidly, so I can understand why that would be the case. Half a tank of fuel left. Let's keep ourselves on the horizon. So let's try and pull that nearer to north as well. Oh look, we're almost in orbit. Come on, periapsis, where are ya? Who are ya? And yes, we want an apoapsis of around 500 kilometres, so I'm still going to carry on burning. We're in a safe orbit now, so let's get our apoapsis up. And cut! 508,000 metres. Not bad, not bad. And we might have just enough fuel to finish the job, although that engine, really we want that engine to re-enter the atmosphere. So what I think I'm actually going to do is a slightly risky manoeuvre. I'm going to run us round. I'm going to burn retrograde to bring our periapsis back into the atmosphere after all that. Okay, and then I will dump off this engine. Yes, I will end up below 500, don't worry. There we go. That will now eventually burn off in the atmosphere. So I'm now going to dump that, and we'll be switching over to our monoprop powered engine to, let's get that clear of that fairing. There we go. Oh, okay, let's push it through the fairing, and then we'll spin ourselves round, point ourselves directly at that engine. So it probably wasn't the cleverest move there. Let's just push ourselves out of the way of that. Let's go. Let's go over there a little bit. Whoop! No, 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 no. Over there a little bit. There we go. Oof. Okay, and then back to prograde. There we go. And we'll bring that periapsis out again. Got to make sure that we end up with at least half a tank of fuel so that we can get the pod back home. So I've got to watch the fuel. If we get up to over half, get to around half a tank left, then we've got an issue. We will be hitting the point of no return, so we don't want that. I don't think we're going to have any problems with that though. No, loads of fuel. So let's go for 450. Tell you what, 455, 456. There we go. And then we'll spin round and we'll bring that apoapsis down. Where's that engine gone? Left it way behind us. Lovely. So we spin round. There we go. How's our levels doing? Loads. Plenty. And bring that in under 500. Closer to 450, 456, whatever it was that we ended up on there. 456, yeah. There we go. Oops, nice wobbly apoapsis and periapsis. 455, 456. Excellent. And we've got loads of fuel to bring Dallas Kerman back home. So, now let's do it the sunny side so people can see what's going on. Unfortunately, the fairings will be left. I should have detached those when I detached the engine, but never mind, because they will be fired off with some force, so they'll be on a slightly different orbit, so that won't be an issue. I hate how that always comes up. Let's get rid of those. There we go. Right, so let's fire these fairings off. There they go. Here is our little probus. Let's extend out the panels, if I can click them. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. And they'll be all up and running in a moment. I tell you what, let's turn the RCS off. We don't need that at the moment. Let's see what we're doing. No, wrong way. Turn ourselves to look at the sun. Okay. I've got my controls are exactly upside down. Right. That's confusing. No, that way. There we go. Right. Okay. So we are staring at the sun now. Plenty of sunlight for those solar panels. So we're about ready to detach this thing. We need to make sure it has communication though. So let's... Where did the... Tell you what, here's an idea. Let's have the lights on. And work out where we put the aerial. I think it's under this solar panel. Oh dear, where is the aerial? Where is the Communitron? Oh no, we replaced it, didn't we? We replaced it with these guys. Whew, that was a panic for a moment there. Mission control, activate. Close that. There we go. So that will, at some point, have communications with mission control. We'll add another one on there. Active vessel. And we'll activate that. There we go. And then that will be ready to roll. And then let's get our scanner out. Start radar scan. It's kind of facing the wrong way, isn't it? I know it doesn't actually matter, but... Oh, that's... What's going on there? We might have a problem. These batteries have gone into pneumatic drill mode. Not really too sure what we do about that. We should have the ScanSat map starting to appear. This all looks very interesting. There we go. So the ScanSat map is starting to appear. Where's the close button gone? There it is. I should be able to activate this as well, actually, which is a resources scan. How does that affect our power consumption? Yes, physics does equal broken. Well, our power's not dropping at the moment. So that's pretty good. I think we're in control. Vaguely. So we're in a position where we can drop this thing off. It doesn't have communication with mission control, which is why I'm doing all this now. Otherwise we'll lose control of the probe, but everything is active. Everything seems good. We didn't use our science things, did we? I can't take a scan there. That was silly. I wonder if I can do it on the way back in. That'd be an interesting thing to try out. So, seems like the radar is pushing on solar panels. Yeah, I think you might be right. Or it doesn't like the fact that it's spanning across 2 batteries. I don't know. Hopefully it won't fall apart when I jettison it. If it does, we have some very expensive debris. But we will have to find out. We are ready to... There we go. That'll be... Come on. There we go. Fired it off. Off it goes, wobbling. Almost looks like one of those hex bug things. Bye-bye, TwitchSat. Oh, new follower, Hugo Van Payne. Welcome, Hugo Van Payne. Thank you for the follow. So, we have a satellite in orbit, and it is scanning. So, let's get ourselves pointing retrograde. Whoa, what? Oh, here's an idea. Use the right keys. Let's switch over, see what this is doing now. It seems quite happy. I mean, it's wobbling around like anything, but it seems quite happy doing what it's doing. So I'm just gonna leave it. Lord Tetchy, welcome back. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Yes, off it goes into the sunset. That's not a sunset. That's a bit of fairing. That's another bit of fairing. There we go. This is the ship we want. So, oh, another new follower. K9 Officer 09. Welcome, welcome. So, now we are pointing retrograde. It's time to bring Dallas Kerman back home. Bringing that periapsis into the atmosphere. I quite like this engine. I like the RCS engine, monopropellant engine. I think monopropellant is lighter than liquid fuel and oxidizer, so certainly more efficient. Okay, let's go for about there. 33 should do it. So he's going home. And we will see in a minute what the results of that scan are. TwitchSat1 probe, there it goes. So let's bring him home. Speed up time, round you come. And there goes that satellite, off on its mission. Speaking of missions, I didn't check to see if there's any contracts we could have done while we were doing this, but never mind. Have we re-entered the atmosphere? We have. So, while we're re-entering the atmosphere, let's see if we can use these guys. Where's the barometer? Toggle display. There we go, 8.4 science. Better than nothing. Log the temperature there, another 5.6 science. Again, better than nothing. Probably already got a crew report from here. No, we haven't. Look at that, 3.5. Okay, what about an EVA then? EVA report. And another 5.6. Look at that. We even managed to get some standard science points. Maybe we should have brought a mystery goo and a materials bay with us. Okay, so let's speed us up a bit. I'll tell you what, let's not do that while we're pointing prograde. Let's point ourselves retrograde. And then we'll speed ourselves up a bit. And we will start to enter the atmosphere, and we should be able to use this monoprop engine to slow us down the rest of the way. How are we doing? Apoapsis is coming down slowly. A little too slowly for my liking, so let's get that monoprop engine running. Floor it! There we go. And here we go, here come the atmospherics as well. Hope these parachutes are sufficient. We increased the size of the pod with tweak scale, so wow, that monopropellant really is doing its job. There we go, we're re-entering the atmosphere. Let's not overheat, let's make sure that we are pointing exactly retrograde. We don't want to lose those parachutes because that will be disastrous. Oh, look at that! We get to see the aurora. Which one is that? This is the south, isn't it? So that's not Borealis. What is that? That's the other aurora. Can't remember the name of that one. Borealis is the one in the north, and I can't remember the one on the south. But there we go. That's also part of the Astronomer's Visual Enhancements pack, or the Astronomer's Visuals pack. What a lovely view that is. Magnetic particles getting stuck in the atmosphere as they blow past the poles. Solar winds and all that sort of thing. Let's get a screenshot of the aurora. In fact, if we are going to be landing almost, we're going to be landing almost on the South Pole actually. That's not bad. That's some more science points for us right there. Come on, slow us down. Let's hang on. Let's add another stage on this. Put that there. What's that? It's already decoupled. That was that there, wasn't it? Yeah. It's a bit weird. Oh! What the... Well, evidently, that craft did not want to re-enter the atmosphere. And with little to no warning whatsoever, it took a little spin and blew up. I really have absolutely no idea what happened there. Just as the atmosphere was getting thicker, I think. Sadly, I believe Dallas will not have made it. Yeah, it will be the aerodynamics that did that. That really killed us. Oh, well, I've never had that before. I have never had a crash on re-entry. However, the mission was successful. We have managed to get the satellite sorted. Separation confirmed. Twitch Sat 1 went on EVA, yeah. Boarded again. And then it spun round, the stack decoupler burnt up, and Dallas Coleman was killed. Absolutely nothing in the flight log. No idea. Absolutely no idea. I don't know why it hasn't taken us back to this, given us an option to go back to the Space Centre, so we'll have to do that. Yeah, the decoupler burnt up and took the rest of the craft with it, evidently. Very confusing. However, we have managed to get a satellite in orbit, so we can have a look and see how that's doing, and we can follow that round to see what it's giving us. We'll go to the tracking station. Means we didn't get that science back either. Is there a way to fix my loading problem? What was the loading problem? I installed the B9, but my game stops loading at cockpit. Ah, there are some bugs with the cockpits, with the IVAs. That's interesting. What's that? What is that? That is a mission that's being offered to us by Tarsier Space Technology. We'll go and have a look at what that is in a moment. I believe that's going to be a geosynchronous satellite. Oh no. 6 million meters. Interesting. We'll have to look at that. But anyway, let's have a look at the probe. Let's see how that's doing. Fortunately, Dallas will return in the Colonising Kerbals series, and that actually is what the donation is for. I just added into to the Twitch game because, well, it's an added bonus. Dallas will be back. He will be in the... Yeah, it's still wobbling, and it's not facing the sun anymore. That's more worrying. And we don't have communication with it currently to be able to move it. So hopefully those 2 solar panels and the bits that those ones are going to get is going to be sufficient to keep it scanning. Fortunately, it won't be going on the dark side anytime soon, but let's speed this guy up. Unfortunately, it's not a physics fault. What's that? I've got communication with something over on the moon there. That's interesting. Wonder what we've just gained communication with. Speed ourselves up, and hopefully this time we will get communication with the satellite as it comes round. Come on. There we go. Look at that. Right on the apoapsis as well. Okay, so let's make sure that this is pointing directly at the sun again. There we go. That weird twitchiness is It's throwing it off, I think, isn't it? There we go. I like to have that pointing towards Kerbin. There we go. We will turn the SAS off just to save it some battery power, not that it will really be using it, and in fact we're going to turn those lights off now to save the battery power. He's quite happy there at the moment. Beep 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 beep. Looks like a little robot, doesn't he? So let's see how the scan is going. Let's go to the ScanSat big map. Let that refresh. Indeed, it is twitching. It's the Twitch Sat, living up to its name. Can we refresh this, perhaps, maybe? There we go. Takes a little while. Beep, 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 beep. What's this pink? Let's have we got a legend? We have. Except this is... what are we looking? This is altimetry, is it? Or... what am I looking at here? Is that... altitude, I presume. Oh, that's slope. Okay, biome. We haven't done a biome scan, have we? No. Okay, so that's the altimeter. Has it not found carbonite yet? Is that... not showing it. If you point the third comm dish at moon, you'll stay in communication with that Satmore, seeing as there is comm source on the moon. Yes. Pink areas are resource. Hover over the map to see concentration. Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, carbonite. Yep, excellent. It's hidden behind that though. Let's turn that legend off. There we go. Oh, it's in parts per million as well, which is interesting. 694, 700. Okay, cool. 1,262. All right, excellent. Okay, so we are scanning for carbonite. Interesting. So that probe is going to carry on with that scan. Unfortunately, it will scan while we are not focused, unlike the Kethane mod. So there we go. That's very interesting. Look at this. Look at this. It's spinning. No wonder it wasn't pointing at the sun. Let's get the SAS back on. Stop that spinning. Point at sun. There we go. Switch to current resource in ScanSat settings. Which is up there. You're scanning all resources. Yeah, I want to scan all resources. Not that I really need to, but... Kethane resources, yeah. Kerbin 3.6% scanned. No, that's fine, that's fine. So, power is steady. This little guy is quite happy, and he's got fuel to come home if he really wants to, but meh, he doesn't need to. So we can just leave him scanning. Leave him to it. I'm not going to set up the communications with the moon just yet, because this is just one satellite, and although we will have communication with the moon, we don't have communication with Kerbin all that often, because it's a polar orbit. Once we've got a geosynchronous up or something like that, then that'll be more worthwhile. So we will come back to that at a later date. But for now, we go back to the Space Centre. Whew. Warm here. Currently 27 degrees here. I think it's probably more than that in this room though. I haven't got a thermometer in this room. 27 degrees is, what's that in American? About 80 odd degrees at 10:45 at night. So let's go to mission control, see what we've got here. One of these was offering, here we go, position satellite in equatorial orbit of Minmus. Position satellite in a specific orbit of Kerbin. Need you to build a satellite to our specifications and deploy it into a very specific orbit around Kerbin. Apparently this is trivial. We've got 5 years to do it. It expires in 4 days. It has to be within these. Please note this must be an unmanned probe built for the agency after the contract is accepted. Apoapsis and periapsis very, very high. 11 degrees inclination. Longitude of ascending node 33.1 degrees. Man, that's very specific. Launch a new unmanned probe that has power and an antenna. Reach the designated orbit with a deviation of less than 7%. Neutralize controls for 10 seconds. When you send your next satellite to the moon, you should add a multispectral scanner to scan for biomes as well. Save you sending a second satellite. Yes, I will do. I was trying to keep this satellite small, but when I'm doing the geosynchronous and the moon ones, they will probably be larger. This is quite a rewarding thing. I don't know whether we want to do it now. Science data from space around Kerbin. I'm pretty sure I've completed that. Perform experiment, prograde quarks, test hydraulic detachment manifold. So yeah, there's a couple of things which we will need a space station for here. I think a space station is probably our next... I think that is probably our next encounter. We don't have any science points to unlock any new stuff this time, but we do already have docking ports, and we have some of the inflatable orbital stuff from the orbital colonization system, wherever that's gone. It was in one of these. Here we go. Where is it? Where's the habitation module? That's the agriculture module. Oh, it's these ones. Inflatable storage module, life support, inflatable storage. One of these is a inflatable habitation ring. I don't see it. It's here somewhere. I'll find it when we're building a craft. Just use a satellite you already have out there right now for free money. You can redo science from space anytime. Can we actually take the science from that? I'll tell you what, let's give that a try, shall we? Where is it? Where's it gone? Where's it gone? Test small explosion, perform experiment. It's gone. I think it kind of forgot that we've already taken that one. Aerial surveys. Perform aerial surveys of Kerbin at an altitude of 14,700 to 25,000. There are places on Kerbin that we don't know much about. Fly over them and see what you can see. So that's going to require a space plane at those altitudes, isn't it? Perform experiment, plant growth in orbit, plant flag, position satellite in specific orbit. That one we have to launch something new for. Perform experiment, creature comforts. Perform position satellite in equatorial orbit of Minmus. Rescue Lod Burr. Test small gear in suborbital. Explore Duna, Ike. Perform experiment. Yeah, it's gone. It's gone. That's a shame. ScanSat radar scanner can transmit science. You get science point for percentage scanned of the surface. Oh, okay, fair enough. We'll go back and check that soon then. Where are the crazy missions coming? Where are those crazy missions coming from? They are coming from. Some of them are coming from the modular colonization system and the orbital colonization system. Some of them are coming from Tarsius space technology. I think the Station Science mod has added the ones about the prograde quarks and things like that, and Fine Print mod has added the others. So there's quite a few in there. The ones about the orbit are from Fine Print, I think. Tarsia, I'm not sure what ones Tarsia has added. These ones are from Station Science. So yeah, there we go. So I think we're going to be looking at a space station. Excuse me, prograde quarks and retrograde quarks. Creature comforts, plant growth. See, plant growth is probably going to be the easiest one of those to get on our first launch. So let's have a look. Let's go and have a look, see if we've got what we need to build a space station. In fact, before we do that, I'm going to go and get myself a drink. So talk amongst yourselves for a moment. I will be back in a second. He's back. Hello. Right, where are we? Yes, there is a list of mods. Cheap supermarket brand cola. Other colas are available. Better colas are available. So, does that mean you're not a cyborg after all? I am not a cyborg, sadly. I can. Oops. Don't need one of those yet. Okay, so yes, we've only got 167,000 in funds. A space station is probably going to be quite expensive, but it is something I want to do. This lab here is 6,500. That's the zoology. Where's the plant lab thing? Plant growth requires eurekas, which requires that lab. So this is the orbital sciences lab. It's not quite the same as this lab. It's bigger and bulkier for a start. Goodness me, I'm sweating. But it serves a different purpose. I'm not going to put a processing lab in orbit for this mission. Yeah, the OKS stuff is expensive, but we can add that later. I would like to get the basis of a space station set up. Ice cube. Apologies to anyone who doesn't like the sound of crunching ice cubes. Now, we haven't unlocked the large docking ports. But that's not a big problem because there's no windows on the sides of this thing. So we can add docking ports to the side of it like that, which will mean we can dock to it from there. And we can add more docking ports further up. This is a separate save game, completely separate save game to colonising Kerbals. Add some lights, top and bottom. There we go. So, what do we want to take with us? We need to take some life support. Life support container large, which would give us 570 days. I'm going to add another one. We don't need it, but it's always handy to have plenty of space for storing life support on your space station. We could take some of the carbonite stuff up, but it's expensive and it's heavy, so for now I don't think we will. That's a carbonite particle collector, that could be handy as well. That's tempting actually. How expensive is that? 1,500. It's very pretty. It's designed to collect carbonite, which would mean we'd need a carbonite tank somewhere. It's a carbonite distiller. Sometimes it leaves behind some useful and less explosive byproducts. Monopropellant. Input electric charge and carbonite. Outputs monopropellant. Or xenon gas. Interesting. Is that a little one and a big one? That's very. It's a very tempting thing to take with us if it outputs monopropellant. What do we reckon? It'll take months or years to generate any useful amounts of carbonite. Yeah, but if you're generating it for monopropellant on a space station, the space station's going to be up there quite some time. Oh, and it looks so pretty. I'm tempted to take it up there just to give it a go, give it a try. Let's add. See, we'd only need a small carbonite tank for that as well, wouldn't we? Is there a? Let's have a look. See if there's a circular carbonite tank. Carbonite fueled engine. Carbonite fueled engine. Prop flat. Carbonite tank. Ah, doesn't work while you're not active. That is a slightly different situation in that case. Yeah, that's a good point. We'd have to sit there watching it for ages. Okay, no, we'll scratch that then. Oops. Yeah, we won't take that. We won't take carbonite. We'll just take boring old normal fuel. Oh. Oh wow, this is really wide, isn't it? Okay. Let's... Oh, no, they're just a long way away. How strange. There we go. Don't know why it's doing that. Very strange. Okay. I don't want that there though. We want that down there. And we'll have some scaled up RCS on this. There we go. One on either side. Balances the weight out nicely. Much more useful around dual. Well, maybe we will have a mission to dual at some point to test that theory out. Let's get some RCS thrusters on this. Some nice low profile ones. Linear RCS ports. What are the difference between them? R1, R1T. I see no difference. Are they just copies? Have we just got loads of copies of the same thing, haven't we? No, that's R12. They're the same. That's very strange. Surface mounted air brake, don't think we need that. SAS half, we could use those actually, couldn't we? Okay, so let's go for... So that's 1909, 2546, and they're 25462. Okay, so let's go for these ones. R5, R5. Where's the R5T? Zoom in and have a look. They look absolutely identical to me. Why is this thing not in the right place? Come here. What's going on there? I want to look at it. No. Bit weird. Right, well... They look identical to me. Absolutely identical, so I'm really not fussed about them. Let's put those... We have 4 of those there. We don't need 4, but we'll have 4. We only need 2 with these, I think. What was that? Was that the R5? No, the R5T that I used there. So we'll have that. And we'll spin it round. There we go. What's going on there? That's off centre. Okay. So... hence the price. Is there a price difference? No, they're the same. I don't know why that one's cheaper. That one's cheaper. I'm taking that one. That was the R1. There we go. Just saved some money. Not a lot, but some. RCS. Now, do we want to try and... This is really annoying. Why is this thing not off-centre? Is there like some hotkey or something that I've missed to centre in on the actual craft? Look. That's marginally better. There we go, that's better. Right, so we've got RCS, we've got some fuel on it, although we haven't got an engine on it. Let's get some. Let's put some SAS on it. One there. One there. No, only want two. There we go. That one's wonky. Wonky, wonky. Still wonky. There we go, that's better. Okay, RCS, SAS, sorted. Now, science, which is kind of the reason we're going. Well, actually, we don't need the science things on this. Because... Well, we don't. Simple as that. So... We're going to need power. It's going to need solar panels. Let's have some nice big batteries on it. Let's go for two like that. Two like that. Plenty of battery. Only 5 hours worth though. That's not a lot, is it? Should we add some more? A day's worth. Good enough for me. There we go. So we've got a day's worth of backup power. Let's get some solar panels on it. We haven't unlocked the Gigantor panels yet, have we? Nope. No, so we're on these ones, 1x6s. So we'll have two. Let's do them off centre there. 4 of them. Is that even? Yeah. I suppose we could go for 4 down there too, just to balance things out. What else do we need? What else do we need? Let's have some emergency parachutes on this thing, since we made that mistake in the Colonising Kerbals series. There we go. 4 parachutes there. Do we need more than that? How much does this thing weigh? It's probably pretty heavy, isn't it? It won't tell me at the moment. Where's all stages? There we go. Yikes, 30 kilograms. 30,000 kilograms, 30 tons. Yeah, I think there's not much point having that on there because